Hi, welcome to Qigong Live Online. This is the beginners class today. So I've just done a class, I've just done the advanced class, and it was on the Western would call flus, influenza, when you get the flu. Chinese medicine doesn't quite see it like that. They talk about wind heat. They talk about heat getting in the body and the symptoms that you get, because that's what they see it as. And so the same thing, I'm going to do this one is on the cold. So go and watch the other one if you want to know about the flu or wind heat. This one we're going to do about the common cold. Now the common cold is a misnomer. People talk about you catch a cold. You can't actually catch cold. You can't catch a cold from anybody else either. You can't pass it on. Like you can't pass a wind heat on. Wind heat is because you get too hot. It's not something you pass to somebody else. If somebody else gets it, it's because they've got too hot. It's got nothing to do with you. So the same with the cold. You can't pass it on. It's when the cold gets into your body. The other one's about heat getting in your body. This one's about too much cold in your body. Now you can get this from various ways. You can be sitting in a draft somewhere and the cold air gets in the back of your neck and gets inside your body. And then might be the following day or the next day you get a cold. And that comes from the cold being inside the body. The body doesn't like cold, and it has all sorts of symptoms. And how the body gets rid of the cold is it wants to eject it out of the body. So the body uses fluid. It's very clever. It does it with the heat as well. It uses fluids to get rid of the heat out of the body, like sweating. The heat goes out with the moisture. The same thing with the cold. The cold goes out with the fluids as well. It's very clever how the mechanism of the human body works. So the common cold, we have symptoms of, you get blocked noses with all the mucus, you get coughing in your lungs, you bring up phlegm and coughing it out. Sometimes you can get headaches with it, but a lot of it's to do with the fluid. And so what happens is when you get to the cold in your sinuses, the sinuses don't like being cold. And so what it does, it congeals all the fluid, because the cold makes all the fluid that's normally moving through the lymphatic system. The cleansing process gets thicker because it's cold, it congeals. And then now you're getting phlegm as such. And so the body wants to get that out of the body, so then you start spitting it out and you're having to blow your nose because all the stuff coming out, because all that congealed fluid that's built up in your sinuses and built up the back of your nose, your body's trying to get rid of it. And it's happened, the congealing of the fluids happened because it's cold. So the same thing, if you get the cold in your lungs, the lungs don't like being cold. And so how the lungs get rid of the cold, they cough it out, which is common, obviously. They're coughing it out, and then you cough up phlegm. So you're coughing, but the phlegm's not coming from your lungs, the phlegm's coming up. It can sometimes come from your lungs, but not often. Quite a lot when you're coughing up and you're bringing up the phlegm from the back of your throat that's coming from your sinuses. So we got this whole thing, and when all it is the body during the common cold, or we'd call a wind cold attack in Chinese medicine, that the body's trying to get the cold out of the body. And I'm going to show you a couple of exercises you can do for yourself and for your kids or anybody else if you get a cold. And this is how you get rid of it really quickly. Usually if I get a cold, I'll get rid of them in a day. Just by doing needles, I get the cold out of my body. I know the right points. There's formulas you can take to get rid of the cold out of the body. There's formulas to get the heat out of your body as well, but there's ones to get rid of the cold out of your body as well, and they're very famous. We've just moved, we're in a new location, it's our new set at the moment, so a bit of dust, speaking about dust, I heard a bit of dust getting in my vein. I've been coughing and spluttering that dust for a couple of days as well. So the cold gets into your body, and so then the body's trying to get out of the body, because the cold damages the body, because we're warm-blooded, and the cold's no use to us, yeah? So what we're trying to do is get rid of that out of the body. So there's a couple of ways it does it. So one of the ways it goes out through the pores, we can get it by going out through the sweat. Now you can get heat out of the body through the sweat, you can get cold out of the body through the sweat as well. And you're going to do the same points as we did the other one, and these points are designed to open the pores in your body to get the cold out, yeah? And I'll show you some other exercises to get the cold out of your lungs as well. We'll talk about that in a second. So the points, Gu, and you can stimulate the point. It's the same point you do for the heat, same point you do for the cold. It will get rid of both. And as I said, there's formulas for wind heat, and there's formulas for wind cold. One's formulas to get the cold out of the body, and the other one's formulas to get rid of the heat out of the body. They're famous Chinese formulas. If you want to know what they are, you can always just message me and I'll send you the link of the common formulas you can buy. And so I take the pills, take them on one night, cold sky on the following day. This is the dust from moving. It's got into my lungs, unfortunately. If I think back now, I should have put a mask on to stop the dust, but I didn't think of it at the time. I think I'll be okay, but you didn't realize when you're moving stuff and all the dust from pulling things out that haven't been moved for a long time. And I got a really dry throat because I think I inhaled way too much dust. And now the body's trying to get rid of the dust. Hence the coughing. So do that point, do the other side, do the same side, stimulate the point. And your intention is to open the pores. You want to open up the pores of all my body by doing this point. Yep. Doesn't matter whether you're clockwise or anti-clockwise. The intention's more important at this stage. Good. Then go to large intestine 11. If you go to large intestine, that's where the crease, where you see the crease comes up from your elbow, from down, it goes down. It's the end of the crease. And this is a major point for getting rid of heat out of the body, but it's a really good point for opening up the pores. So I'm going to stimulate that point. Now, normally if I acupuncture somebody, if they've got a wind cold attack, I'll do Hu-Gu and I'll do large intestine 11 at the same time. This is large intestine 4. And they're both on the large intestine already. And I'll do that point, and do them both, and I'll do them both sides, and then the person will go home and go to bed and sweat like crazy. And then the following day they'll wake up and the cold's gone. That point, and then large intestine 11. Good. So by doing that, as I say, it'll do that, and I can feel that happening. So the whole body starts to leak. You start to get sweaty because it's opening up the pores, and that's your intention. Open these points, open up the pores, get the cold out of the body. Yep, very famous. Can you just check that the camera shot? I have a new camera person. The other shot, because it's just got the top of my head. It's the camera slumped down a bit. Perfect. I have a new camera person today. Believe it or not, we've just moved, right? So both my camera people have got too much dust as well. And one of them's got allergy attack because of the dust. I've got it, they've got it. So I passed it around, but I haven't passed it around. I just passed the dust around. And the other one, and Sammy normally does it, he's not well too because he was there on Thursday when we were packing up the office. And so they've all got it. So we cleaned the new place, but it's all the dust that comes from the old when you pack it up. Some stuff that's just cleaning up. Good, so that's the point. So as I say, this afternoon or when I sit down, all of a sudden I'll start leaking by it, spontaneously start sweating. Sweat the heat out, sweat the cold out. But at this stage we're talking about the common cold, we're getting the cold. So the closest meridian to the outside world is the bladder meridian in the back of your neck. That's why people that don't like the wind, or they have wind inside their body, wind as in TCM wind, not wind as in belching and that sort of wind. It's wind as in like pathogenic wind. And so you get it from the outside. The wind outside will affect you because you have wind on the inside. So you react to the thing inside that you have outside. And the back of your neck, you won't like wind on the back of your neck because that's where it can get into your body. And the wind points to get rid of it out of the body, the wind acupuncture points are both on the back of your neck. Well, there's 3 of them on the back of your neck to get it out. So a person who doesn't like wind cold, they have lots of scarves. They won't like the wind on the back of the neck. Yeah. So that's the point. So the cold. So now, of course, to get rid of cold, you can have food, warming foods that'll warm you up, that it's good for, because that's when they say you have a cold, you should have good hearty broths and stuff. Yeah, it's the heat. You need all that because it warms you up. Now, question, of course, is how do you get the cold? If your Wei Qi, or I'll use the term immune system, your energetic immune system, which is your Wei Qi, which is WEI, Wei Qi level, it's like your force field around your body. If you get tired, that force field is not so strong, and the wind cold can get into your body easier, and the wind heat can get into your body easier. And so the stronger your immune system, your Wei Qi is, the less that can attack can get into your body, so you're not going to get colds and flus. Yeah. So that's why you have a lot of strong power. It comes from the kidneys. The kidneys are like your battery, so your battery's fully charged. The battery goes to the lungs are in charge of the Wei Qi, then you don't get any cold attacks. Yeah. But if you do get cold attacks, which is different to the dust attack I've got at the moment. Yeah, so there we go. So the cold. So we're going to do exercise for your cold to get rid of cold out of your lungs. The lungs don't like the cold, and we're going to use the exercise from the 5-element Qigong system. We'll use the metal element exercise, which is the lungs and large intestine, and we're going to use it to get the cold out of the lungs, because the lungs don't like being cold. We've already done the points that are going to get cold out of the body by sweating it out through all the pores, including your feet. It's going to get the cold out of your body, out through your neck. Yep, going to get rid of the cold. Now we're going to do an exercise that's going to take the cold out of your lungs. That's where all that phlegm coming up and all that phlegm from the back of your thing, and that's all cold. All it is trying to cough the cold out of your body, get it rid of it. And it's how it's doing. It's squeezing the bronchus, trying to spit out all the cold out of the lung tissue. Yep, and that's what happens. In Chinese medicine, how they see it. Of course, and then you just do these things and it goes away, so it must be functionally correct. Anyway, moving to the exercise. So start from the bottom. So we're going to link the two fingers together. We're going to link our lung meridians together with our two thumbs, and we're going to link our two index fingers together. Yeah. We're going to start with the bottom. The hands come up, you turn them over at your chest and in front of your lungs, and you push them forward. Yeah. Then you come to the side, and then you bring the hands down. The hands come up the front, turn them over at your chest, go forward. Perfect. And then open to the side. Good. Now the breathing for this exercise, bring the hands down. As you breathe in when you come up, and you breathe out when you go forward. Now breathing out all the cold out of your lungs. Breathing in. And breathe out the cold. Good. Breathing in. Breathe your lungs out through the cold. Now breathe out through your nose, or if you can't breathe out through your nose if you've got a cold, because quite often you can't, you have to breathe out through your mouth. Breathing in, and then breathing out. Perfect. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, and breathing out. So you can think of breathing in the cool air. Yeah, you're thinking of breathing in the warm air. You don't want to breathe in cool. You're trying to get rid of the cold. Breathing in, breathe in the warmth into your lungs, and breathe out the cold. Breathe in the warmth into your body, and breathe out the cold. By now, after doing those exercises, you'll feel a pause. You could be starting to sweat already by this stage. You could be, or you might not notice it, but you'll feel the body getting warmer, and as it gets warmer, then you'll feel the sweat coming and breathing out. Breathing in, and then breathe out. In traditional Chinese medicine, the immune system is not microphages and exosomes that go around destroying all the bad guys in your body. The immune system is seen as the Wei Qi. It's the energetic immune system that stops all the wind, cold, the dampness, the dryness getting into the body. Very different concept of how they see the immune system as such. They don't call it the immune system, they call it Wei Qi. They call it defensive Qi. Wei Qi is, that's what it means. Defensive Qi from external pathogenic invasions. How's that? External pathogenic invasions. To stop that. And then breathe out. So if your immune system's strong, if your kidneys are strong, your battery's full, you're not tired, you've got plenty of energy, your lungs have plenty of energy, your Wei Qi is strong, and then you're not susceptible to wind cold attacks. You won't get colds. The idea of cold, because it is cold, it's cold inside your body. And you won't also get the wind heat. You won't get the heat attacks either, because your body will be strong enough, your Wei Qi will be strong enough to stop all the extra heat getting in. The body also, if the body's strong, and the kidneys are strong, because the kidneys regulate the hot and the cold in the body. The kidneys regulate the hot and the cold. Then if the kidneys are strong, then the regulation process is really good. So it regulates hot and cold really quickly. But if your kidneys are weaker because you're tired, then your regulation of the hot and cold is slower. So then you're going to have your wind heat or your wind cold a lot longer before you can get rid of it. That's why it puts you into bed. Now wind cold is different. Wind cold, quite often with wind cold, you can eat food because you want warming food to warm you up, the hot broths to warm you up. But when you have a wind heat, you don't want to eat. You don't feel like eating if you have the so-called flu thing, which we call wind heat. You don't feel like eating, but when you have a cold, you do feel like eating because you want the warmth from the food. The warmth of the food will warm you up. Very good. Because when you have food, because the nature of food produces energy, and the energy is a source of heat. Even if it's cooling food, it still produces energy in the body, and when you have a hot one, It doesn't want you to produce any more heat. It's got enough. It's trying to get rid of it. But the cold's exactly the opposite. It's trying to breathe the cold into your body. It's trying to breathe the cold out and breathe the warmth into your body. And to regulate, once it's regulated, then the kidneys will maintain that, and then you're back running around doing what you normally do without coughing and spluttering. Or if you move a house, make sure you wear a mask. Bizarre. Cool, one more time. Breathing out. Now you can do this with your children if you get a kid. Now it's not necessarily easy to get to do this with a young child, to get them to do this exercise. There you go. But you can do the points. I do it with my son, wind, cold, wind, heat. I'll do the point, the other video you'll see about the point on the back of your neck, but for the wind, cold, you'll see me stimulating these points on my son, and you'll feel him warming up, because my intention is to warm him up and to take the cold out of the body, and wake up in the morning and it's all gone. It happens, it's that effective. Because you're focusing on the cold, not some bug or inside you, not some bacterial thing. We're talking about cold in your body. That's the problem. When we get rid of the cold, the body regulates itself. Get rid of the heat, the body regulates itself. Now, hopefully that's useful. As I say, if you want to know about the wind, heat, or the flu as such, I use that terminology loosely. Go and watch the other one, and you'll see what I mean. Anyway, if you have any questions, please ask. At this stage, the question was, are you breathing
from lower dantian to arms and back, or just lungs?
At this stage, we're trying to get the cold out of the lungs. So it's a good question. Somebody's asked, are you breathing from the lower dantian out of the arms, or are you breathing from just the lungs? The question with this particular one, we're breathing out because we want to get the cold out of the lungs. So we're breathing out through the lungs, yeah? And we're breathing energy, bringing the warmth back in, the warm energy back in, and then we're breathing cold out of the lungs, just for this. But if we use it for other things, then we can breathe in and out from a lower dantian if we're using to regulate the large intestine and the lungs for different conditions that we might be having with either the lungs or large intestine. But this one, because we're just doing wind, cold with just the lungs. Yeah, great question. Thank you for that. Very cool. Have a beautiful day. Have no more colds. The key to the cold, of course, is really simple, is have a full battery. Don't get tired. Go to bed early, then you don't get colds, pretty much. That's the easiest way. And don't move. If you move, you start getting lung, you've got to cough and splutter all that dust out, but other than that. By the way, the lung gets affected not just from the wind cold, it gets affected from the stuff in the ear, not just the dust that I've just been consuming, but the road traffic out here. We have a lot of traffic out here. I always wear a mask when I'm driving around my motorcycle. It's not for anything else except for the fumes, because that fumes is toxic. It gets into your lungs and it makes your lungs toxic, and then you start spitting up phlegm and stuff as the body's trying to get rid of the fumes. If you're using cleaning fluids and some of the high smelling fumes from the cleaning things, that'll get you, because it gets into the lungs, it's toxic, and the body will try to reject it out of the lungs, and you're going to get coughs and colds, and you can get asthma from it. You get all sorts of things as the body's trying to get rid of it. So be really mindful the cleaning products you use and the smell, because a lot of those smells is toxic to our body. The fumes are toxic. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that. Have a beautiful week, and we'll see you next week, eh? We'll just bow. Go on. And as I say, you can do this and sit back. You can do this with your kids as well, and it works really, really effectively. There are wind, cold, wind. If you want the Chinese formulas for the wind, cold, wind, heat, I'll put them up on the YouTube. I'll write them underneath it so you can have a look when you get to this video. I think this is 58, I think, today. So have a look under 58. 57? Oh, it's 57 today. Okay, 57, and you'll see. Well, I'll call it a common cold anyway, so you'll be able to find it. And you'll have the formula, the Chinese form, really, really popular formulas for getting rid of colds. Work just instantly. Anyway, have a beautiful weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.